You're probably wondering where I got the name Shawbucks. Well, Shawbuck was my great uncle, Clarence Olson. I think he was born in 1903. During Prohibition, they lived on a farm, so they did farming and that, and they also made moonshine, and so they were always cutting wood, and they needed wood to cook with, they needed wood to heat with, they needed wood to make their gin or whatever concoction they were making, type of moonshine they were doing. And so Shawbuck's job every day was to grab the buck saw. So I just imagine a bunch of guys sitting around having some drinks, getting tipsy, and one day one of his brothers, perhaps Ingvi, said, hey, Clarence, don't forget the Shawbuck. And all of a sudden that became his nickname. Shawbuck was kind of a vagrant. I got to know him. He died in 1972. I got to know him towards the end of his age. My mom would take me with to visit him. He was an alcoholic who got sober his last 2 or 3 years of his life. I think he died of liver cancer. He was kind of a vagrant. He would live on a farm in Jamestown, New York, Chautauqua County. In the summer times, and in the winter time he'd hobo a train down to Florida and work a farm down there, just to support his habit drinking, and he'd a lot of times just live right in the barn. And Shawbuck was actually a medic in World War II. You know, at the age of 40, it was unusual someone of his age would be able to get into it, and he saw a lot of action in World War II. And he was very poor, and I always remember the story as a child of the biblical story of the woman that, you know, people were making fun of because she only had a few cents to give and donate, but it was like a large sum of her net worth. Well, Shawbucks at Christmas, I just remember all his grandnieces and nephews getting all excited when he was coming, because he would give us all a silver dollar at Christmas. And you know, back in 1969, 70, that was quite a bit of money for him, and a dollar was worth a lot more in 1970. And that was probably a third of his net worth. He probably didn't have more than, you know, $50 or $100 to his name at any point in his life, I don't think. I don't know for sure. But that just meant a lot to me. And then also Shawbuck left me his only possession that he had, which was a samurai sword from World War II. I haven't had it appraised or looked at. I mean, the value is priceless to me because it came from him, but I'm assuming it's got to be 300 or 400-year-old sword. Just my unexpert opinion. So that's the story of my Uncle Shawbuck, and that's how Shawbucks got its name. It was a bunch of guys sitting around having a couple of drinks after work. So Shawbucks, relax and unwind with friends, is what Shawbucks is all about.